Good morning. How's everybody doing? So, this morning we are going to switch it up. Surprise, surprise. And we're going to go backwards. So, if you're just tuning into this first video, there's 39 before this, and they're in order. It's not just randomness. I'm doing these in order as I see the need to unfold them so they build upon each other and become a thing. So, if this is your first video, your next video, if you decide that you like what I have to say, or even if you want to argue with me, is to go all the way to the bottom of my page and start on the death of greed. And then from the very bottom of the list, work up. I think that's important that you know that. These aren't standalone videos. They support each other. That what you're listening to right now is brick number 40 in the foundation. And so I hope you understand that, like, instant gratification isn't the way in life. You have to put in the work to get the answers. And the longer that you wait to start at the beginning of the book, the longer it'll take you to catch up to where we are right now and to be current and to be able to just click on one of my videos and be current with where I'm at with things and what I'm thinking about and what I'm speaking on. None of you are. You're all doing this in reverse. You're all doing this like it's just another thing that you can consume or discard. You're your inability to be disciplined is not a me problem. I just wanted to say that. I wanted to start the video out with that. I wanted you to know that there's a way to do this, and there's a way to recover. This morning we're going to talk about my life. This is my life story part 2 this morning. We left off me being 10 years old, molested, isolated, abused. That's where we left off. So let's just jump right back into it. It's a good time. So there's a few things I want to add on to the first part of the story. How many times I almost died by the time that I was, let's see, 12? The very first time that I almost died, I was about 6 years old, 7 years old. And we got these giant grain bins. I don't know if you know what a grain bin is, but it has a double door. And the inner door folds closed against the door, and the outer door closes like this. And then there's these huge, like this big around bolts that go across. And you put them through the door because there's hundreds of tons of grass seed in one of these silos. I don't know why, but I was just a kid and I wanted to get in the grain silo and it wouldn't open. So I opened the outer door and I got the bolts out. And we're talking, these things are like 4 feet across because, you know, they go all the way through the door frame. I got all 4 of those out somehow and was pounding on the inner door trying to figure out how to get it open. Well, my dad found me doing so and lost his mind and came, jumped, grabbed me and ran off and all these things. Mechanically, there's no reason that door shouldn't have kicked out hundreds of tons of seed and killed me. There's not enough load-bearing structure on the inner door to stop the weight of all that seed. There isn't. But it didn't kill me. That was pretty good. And then within a couple of years, it was almost like there was like this time period in my life between 6 and 10 where it was just like, I almost died. And you don't think about it, you just keep going, but like, I almost died. Same time period, somewhere in that 6 to 10 range. I was riding on the back of the seed drill. And so the seed drill is this big machine and it's got a big container in it. And there's this little 2 pieces of 2x4s that are on the back. And you can stand on that and you lift up the lid, you pour the seed and the fertilizer in, and it goes down through these things. and it goes down in the ground, and there's a furrow in front, and then the seeds gets put in it, and then there's a furrow behind you. And a furrow is it's just a big square with a bunch of spikes that go like this, and they're about this far, and they're at an angle. So what happens is like this. So what happens is as you drive over it, those furrows push the seed down into the ground and pretty much plant it. Just metal contraptions. So my dad's on the front of the tractor, right? And I'm playing on the seed drill. While it's moving, yeah, it's not going that fast. You can't go that fast, you know? Like you can jump off and jump back on without dying. It's not that fast in the field. And I fell off. When I fell off the back. And my knees hit the ground, and I grabbed the seat, well, the bench, whatever you want to call it, the two pieces of wood. I grabbed one of those pieces of wood, and my legs went underneath the furrows. And the problem with it is the furrows are at an angle away from where you are. So when you're caught up underneath it, your legs are literally up underneath, getting dragged the opposite direction. It's not like you can pull yourself. The spike goes the opposite direction where you're trying to pull, and the tractor's going the opposite direction. I pulled myself back up on that bench. I shouldn't have been able to do so. I was a little kid. I should have never been able to save my own life. I should have went underneath those furrows and I should have died. And somehow, I grabbed the thing and I pulled my legs out from underneath that furrow while I was moving and managed to get back on the seed drill. Another time, we used to burn fields, slash burn. What you do is you take 4-wheeler, 3-wheeler at the time. We only had 3-wheelers then, and a gas can that was on fire basically. It was like napalm, and you take and you drip it as you're driving along the edge of the field, and you burn the field into the middle. You have to go all the way around the field before it starts burning. That's how you control fire. You burn it to the center. That's how you slash burn. That's what it's called. I almost didn't make it out of one of those slash burns one time. Almost didn't. And I did. And I have no idea how. Then, when I was a kid, once a year we'd take a family vacation. Depending on how good the farming was, we'd go somewhere. A couple years it was good enough, we went to Disney World as a kid. Disney World. Most of the time it was family adventures. So I spent my childhood in the family dream where you pack up the family and you go somewhere for the weekend or week or whatever and you go see something. So I done seen most of the United States. Grand Canyon and Painted Desert and a bunch of Native American ruins, and like my dad's a history guy, so you can just imagine the things that I went and seen. Well, one of them was the Grand Coulee Dam. It's the biggest dam in America. And I was like 9, 10, somewhere in there. My dad wanted to see over the edge. Lift me up, Dad, I want to see. So he lifted me over the edge. And he let go of me. And right now, as I say that to you, I'm sick to my stomach because I remember the fear. It's still there. I can't get high because of that. I can't climb to a certain height. I can't. Because the motherfucker let me go. And I caught myself, and then he caught me. But I caught myself first. I will never forget completely losing trust and faith in my father right there for life, feeling like he tried to kill me no matter what, no matter fucking what. It felt like he tried to kill me. And don't forget, this man had been beating on me already. He was already teaching me that what the kind of love he had for me was pain and sorrow, and that I needed to learn to bear the weight of such negative things at all times because I was a man. Men just deal with it. All these psychology scenarios that should break someone. The world gave it a really good shot from a beginning age. So by the time I was 10, I was a bad kid. Went shot out the neighbor's windows as a kid. First felony, where I was 12. I was well on my way to being every negative thing that you don't want in a human being and a male in society. Then things got worse. Stock market crashed. 92, 94, somewhere in there. And the beatings got bad, and I was in middle school. And that happened. I'll give you an example. Just one story I remember from the horrors that were my childhood. I was in middle school, and we're out on the playground, and I went to kick at somebody, and my shoe came off, and it went on the roof of the building. So they called my dad. My dad was out farming. So my dad came to school with a fucking ladder, an orchard ladder, big one. I'm standing out on the playground. Everybody's in school now. I've been left out on the playground waiting on my dad. There's people looking out the windows through all the classes. My dad climbs up on the fucking thing, and he gets my shoe, and he comes down, and he takes my other shoe, and he tells me you can spend the rest of the day without shoes on your feet. And I got teased and bullied through school the entire day, and when I got home, I got the fuck kicked out of me. Dad didn't come to school very often for anything. And the embarrassment that I felt, the shame that I went through, the understanding that the way I was being treated made me less than other people, that there must be something wrong with me because nobody else's parents were going to school and embarrassing them. Nobody else was beating their kids like I was experiencing. Like, must be my fault, right? And you can't forget, because we've been talking about this, is I was adopted, so I already had these ideas. And then as I got older and got beat on and got talked down to, and I got treated like fucking dog shit, and I never mattered, my feelings never mattered, my voice never mattered, how smart I was didn't mean fuck all unless it helped with the farming. Is it any wonder I turned to drugs? Is it any wonder that by the time I was 15, I was on meth? Like permanently. Not like I tried it. Middle school was rough. I didn't really have any friends. I was fat. Oh, I was fat. I was a fat kid. And I was really strong, but I was also fat. Mom feeds you good when you work on the farm, that was the perk. If you work hard, you get good meals. So I always had 3 meals. I can't argue about that. I had 3 meals and I had electricity. So even with everything I went through, I'm still doing better than kids in India. I'm still doing better than kids in Nigeria. I'm still fucking doing better. So like, if you need a reason that helped me, why it is that I even look at life the way I do, it's because I know somebody had it worse. No matter how fucking bad it was, somebody could beat me. I'm pained. And I just want to hug whoever that is and tell them I kind of understand because they went through more than me. There's always somebody with the worst story. If you can always remember there's somebody with the worst story, then your story isn't the worst. And if it's not the worst, then does it need to be repeated? I don't think so. I don't think anybody should have to go through what I went through. I don't think it's worth it. I think that there's easier ways to become a good human being without first being chained into the darkness. So there I was, this little kid, beat on, started smoking weed. I started smoking weed. Weed was the best for me. Let me tell you guys something, and I'm not going to be crude about it because being crude isn't really my forte. I was like 13, never had sex with a girl. I never smoked weed. And it had all these bad things about me. Like, I already had all these mental instabilities. I already had no self worth, no self esteem. I already was like, was different than other kids because I'd already been fucking terrorized, right? But I had this friend, and he had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend had a best friend. And so we were all hanging out, and we went over to my buddy's girlfriend's house, and it was like a trap house. When you look back on it now, it was a trap house. The parents would buy you alcohol. Pretty sure they did meth downstairs, like trap house. Of course, So I went and hung out with these two girls, and we sat in this room, and we all smoked weed, and then I got laid. Not by my buddy's girlfriend, but by her best friend. We fucked. And I was like, weed and pussy. Excuse me. I'm trying not to be crude, but that's how I talk. Weed and pussy. Oh my God. Here's two things at the same time that I've never experienced that make me feel better than anything I've previously experienced in this world. Oh my God. Well, within 6 months of that, I was in rehab. See, my parents thought that the answer to me at this point, because there was no way to control me, you could beat me, but it didn't matter. I'd still do whatever the fuck I wanted. I'd lie right to your face. I'd steal from you. So off to rehab we went. My first rehab, I was like 14, 13 or 14. Yeah. Rehab sucks. Rehab sucks. I think I've been to 9 inpatients. I only completed one, and it was a Trex. Let me tell you what a Trex is. Trex is located in Oregon, or maybe it's Northern California. I can't remember now. And the premise of it was 4 kids, 3 adults, all 3 are certified counselors, and they take you out in the woods for 3 weeks. This isn't where you sit in some fucking class and whine about your feelings. It's boot camp. So they give you a 50-pound backpack, and it's got all your clothes and all your food and all your supplies that you'll need for 7 days. And then you start walking, and they take you to the Northern California mountains. And I don't remember which trail it was I did, but we did one of the Northern California mountain trails. It takes 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. That's how long it took me to finish this Trex. It's beautiful. But every day you would hike all day long. In the very last 5 days of the thing, after you had completely destroyed your body and gotten strong, and any addictions that you had been sweated the fuck out to the point where you couldn't even, you know, then they had you do journals. And what they do is they took you out for 3 days. They set up base camp. They went on a half mile in all 4 directions. Put one of us kids out there, and we just sit in the woods by ourselves for 3 days and journal and survive without seeing anyone else. Pretty cool, huh? I made the best grilled cheese sandwich because they had like this powder where you could add water, make a hole, add water, make dough. It was pre-made dough. You can make bread out of it. You make fry bread. I made a fried bread grilled cheese sandwich. It's the best grilled cheese sandwich I've ever had in my life. I loved grilled cheese sandwiches before I knew what grilled cheese sandwiches were. Best grilled cheese sandwich of my life. And I didn't want to be on this track. So listen, 10 days in, I took a boulder and fucking smashed it against my ankle trying to break my own fucking foot. Just because I didn't want to do the treks. And we took a day off while my foot healed enough where I could walk on it again. But They told me if it's broken and you can't walk, we'll have you flighted out of here and you'll restart your 3 weeks. So then I had to sit there and hope that my leg wasn't broken. It was quite a day. It was quite a day. I remember doing physical violence to myself to try to escape dealing with the emotional violence that I'd experienced in this world. That's crazy, right? Got that mindset at 13. I will fucking smash this against my ankle and break my whole shit. Because fuck you. Because I don't like these chains you have on me. I've been kind of rebellious my whole life. So I kept going to rehab. Must have went 3 or 4 times. And then I was back in school. I was back at the farm. I was whatever. But at this point, I didn't give a shit. So now I was 14. Me and my dad were getting into it all the time. All the time. Just before I turned 15, with all the drug addiction and everything else going on, I got into it with my pops. I don't remember what, no matter. There's so many instances of the littlest thing me doing became a beating that like it all just blurs together, you know? He told me to go to the woodshed. Now you can think whatever you want of that, but where I'm from, he says go to the woodshed. You went to the woodshed. And when you got in that woodshed, it was fucking Fight Club till you got out of the woodshed. And it was better to not fight back and take the beating than it was to fight back. I fucking promise. He told me to go to the woodshed, and I was like 14, and I gotten pretty big and pretty fucking mouthy and pretty had enough of his fucking shit. And I told him, you put your hands on me ever again, and I'm gonna beat the fucking brakes off you. And it stopped him. He never had me talk to. I never stood up to him ever. And the first time I did, you know what he said? You think you're a grown man? Get the fuck off my property. After beating me and abusing me and never listening to me and never caring about me in the ways that I needed to feel love, he discarded me. In that moment, I didn't feel like I had a family anymore. In being discarded as trash that could no longer be used, I understood how alone I was in the world. And in that understanding of being completely alone, I decided, fuck it. If no one else gives a fuck, I don't care anymore either. Period. I don't care. At about the time all these negative things were happening to me, coincidentally, I met a new friend. And this new friend's dad was a biker. I didn't know that at the time. So we hung out a little bit off and on, and he was from California. And they were into meth. Now, at this point, I'm not going to glorify things. I don't have time for that shit. But I tried mushrooms, and I'd eaten acid twice by this point, and I'd already tried meth once. I hadn't tried cocaine, and I'd smoked Red Rock opium. That was the extent. I'll never forget, I went out to this guy's house, and we were out there, and there were 2 trailers like this. Right? I don't know if you can see the dynamic. On a 90. And those old ones. Remember those old trailers that were like, when you walked in, there was a little wooden table to your right with a little bench seat, and then you went all the way back, and there was like a bedroom in the back, and it was just like a hallway. They were just the 80s ones, you know? Little trailers. And those are 2 of these. So I walk in. I'm in the other trailer with my buddy. And he goes in the first trailer with his dad or whatever, and it's been a little bit, and I'm out there smoking weed, cigarettes, you know. His dad's cool as fuck, cusses all the time, doesn't give a fuck about nothing. Big, burly son of a bitch, big black beard, loud as fucking shit, cusses like a sailor. All his friends are just fucking, you know what I mean? You ever met a biker? You know what I mean, a real biker. Not some pussy that rides a motorcycle, a fucking biker. And so I didn't know what was going on, so I walked in the other trailer and I opened the door. And when I opened the door, on the table, and this was a short table, it's a short wooden tables, were 7 rocks that were white like this. I mean, balls. There's 7 of them. There's my buddy's dad and my buddy sitting on that side of the table. And on this side of the table, right next to the door, I'm now staring in the eyes of a Mexican. I met my first Mexican mafia dude before I turned fucking 15 years old. I could spot them boys out of any crowd no matter what, because I've been around them for 30 plus years almost. And not because I deal with them, just because I know. And my eyes got about as big as a saucer plate, you know? And I just shut the door. And I went back over to the other trailer, and I just sat there, and I thought to myself, well, Kyle, you done did it to yourself now. They're going to kill you and bury you right out here on this farm. Because we were on a farm, you know, we weren't in the city. They're going to bury you on this farm. And I just started chain smoking cigarettes and taking bong hits, just knowing I was dead. I had turned the corner, and hell was coming. And all that stupid shit that I heard about religion as a kid, I was about to figure out who God was. And my buddy came in. He said, it's kind of awkward, you know? And he was like, you know what that was, bro? And I was like, yeah, it was methamphetamine, right? And he was like, yeah, have you ever done it before? I was like, well, yeah, once, man. And he was like, well, you want to do something? I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Because I'm in full panic mode, like whatever it takes. And I never stopped to think, now as an adult, why not get the kid high before you kill him, right? Spit him out and send him into some fucking craziness. But they kept me instead. I think the term, when you grow up in a dope house around bikers, depending on the club, you're their baby. For me, I was an angel baby. From a very young age. First crimes I ever committed was for a club. Period. And not as a member or any. Fuck no. Who would ever try to fucking pop their own horn about stupid shit like that? But I worked for him directly. I smoked dope with the fucking Mexican that brought it to us. I knew their names and where they were from. I still do. I still can't remember. And so there I was, 14 years of age, living in a trap house, selling and smoking meth every day of the week. So my grandma, God bless her soul, my dad's mom. Don't forget, I'm adopted. These aren't real people to me. These are people that I use those terms with because that's the only example I have. Not because I think it's a good example. But my grandma, on the other hand, unconditional love. And no matter what I do, no matter how bad I was, that woman would, here's some money, here's a place to sleep, here's some food. Every time I'd be coming down off dope, I would go to her house to feel better. Like, my grandma, during one of the lowest points in my life, made sure I also knew what unconditional love was. My grandma went to war with my dad over me. Because no matter what, he had kicked me out of the house before I was even 15 years old. Like, and she knew that was wrong. She knew how you're supposed to treat family. She knew family came first. She knew how important it was to have an example of love as a child so you didn't become a bad fucking adult. Grandma knew. Grandma knew. And so there it was. 15 years old now. Spun out on meth. I remember a few different times running into people from high school and they were still going to school. They were 10th grade and they were worried about math homework. I was trying to sell them a teen of dope. I remember my teenage years. My teenage years, up until I was 15, was like one big humiliation ritual after another. It was like one giant fuck you over and over and over and over again. Thank you for listening to this part of my story. We'll continue it on. There'll be more videos as I gather my thoughts to share, because it's one thing to share a mindset, it's one thing to share a philosophy, it's one thing to converse with other human beings. It's an entire another thing to become vulnerable. So have patience, because I'm being vulnerable as quickly as I can allow myself to be. Because I have a 100% track record of becoming vulnerable and someone trying to use that against me as a human being. Me having to catch another wolf.